Hey guys, Dylan from the Geek Duo here, and today I'll be bringing you my reaction to Percy Jackson Season 2, Episode 6, titled Nobody Gets the Fleece. Percy and Annabeth go undercover on an island to rescue their friends, and this is the shortest episode of the season, coming in at 1 minute less than Episode 3. Now, I'm going to be completely honest in I don't remember what happens in this episode because I remember what happens in chapter, what is it, 14, which is the one before the chapter that this is titled after, and I remember what happens in number 16, which is apparently the title of next week's episode. I don't know how that's going to work because of reasons that have happened in the show. I'll probably address that more next week, but yeah, I don't exactly remember what this chapter is. Also, I need to say that the thumbnail of this episode does not look good. There's something weird about the composition, not the composition, the layering that just looks really off. So I I did trailer breakdowns for this season, two of them, because there were two trailers. And I was intending to do episode breakdowns as well. The problem is I was not in a position, both time wise and mental wise, to do those when these started. So I decided, oh, I'm going to wait, possibly do a full season breakdown, or maybe some book to show analysis and everything. I'm probably not even going to be able to get the last episode reacted to for like a month after it comes out, because you've got this episode today, you've got episode 7 next week, so next Wednesday, that'd be the 14th, and then the following week on the 21st I go in for back surgery. I'm off in hospital for 2 weeks at least, or about 2 weeks. I'm not going to be reacting when I get home for at least another 2 weeks. So, yeah, unless they do a double episode drop next week, it's going to be a month before I can watch the finale, which is going to be really annoying. And, yeah, so just putting that out there now, I'll probably remind again next week if it is only a single episode of there's going to be a big delay. Also, once I come back from that break, I'm hopefully going to be increasing the amount of videos that I have on this channel. Like going back to at least 2 a week, hopefully more, because there are a lot of shows that I've not watched because I've just not been in the mood to record reactions to them. Also, the reason I got on the trailer breakdown discussion and then went on a tangent is the shot of Kronos' coffin that we saw in The Princess Andromeda. When I watched that first trailer, or maybe the second trailer, I had a section of the script mentioning how the black rocky texture, almost obsidian like, with the inlaid of gold kintsugi patterns, was very reminiscent of Kronos' design in Hades 2. And I took that out because I didn't want to come across like I was saying, oh, this copied that or that copied this or anything like that. I was just wanting to make a point and then just have it at that. Decided to take it out. Then we have basically divine intervention with Athena coming in, much like she does in the game. We had smart Polyphemus, like we have in the game. We have Circe, whose whole thing is like having people on their island, giving them gifts to try and keep them safe. Different demeanors, but both very different and from the original, and also somewhat similar in their intentions. Um, Scylla having some crustacean-like shell in the, well, it's not crustacean. It's a clam in the game. Whereas this, it's crab. Both being shelled creatures, as opposed to the six-legged creature that their legs are sort of like tentacles that end in dog faces. Yeah, there are a lot more similarities in this and Hades 2. I'm not complaining. I love Hades 2. Um, it's one of the games I've been streaming for the last few months. But yeah, I just wanted to point that out that as the season goes on, more and more, and I don't know if there is anything left that could be related as well, but you don't know. They might add more things. Yeah. Anyway, let's finally get this episode reaction started in 3, 2, 1, go. Why are my subtitles not on? Oh yeah, also Percy and Annabeth, they don't know that Polyphemus is on to them. One thing I did really like about the last episode is it is laying the groundwork technically for book 4 of the second series, because you know how most shows, I'm actually gonna, you know how most shows have a what if the main character went dark thing? Well, Percy shows how capable he is of going dark in the not Blood of Olympus, House of Hades, which is book 4 of the Heroes of Olympus. We see what happens when Percy loses it. And to hear in the last episode Percy say, if something were to happen, if I had to choose between you and Olympus, I would burn it down. Not I'd let it burn, I would burn it down. Really sets the stage for something that I do remember happening in the book. It could even be from the chapter that this is titled after, or it's next week's ones that could very well tie into that. So we've got that to look forward to. Anyway, back to. I think it's pretty clear who this is, and that confirms it right there. Okay, the eye doesn't really work underwater. I'm just gonna say that now. That's all I'm gonna touch upon it. The effect. Also, it seems like my quality is dipped, so that possibly isn't helping. Please tell me he doesn't just walk along the bottom of the ocean to get where he. Okay, close up looks a lot better. Hmm. Okay, that sort of debunks the whole. What if he is the bracelet? Hey, it's the dream from the trailer. Considering this showed up in both the trailers, I thought this was going to come earlier on. Ooh. Well, that wasn't a part of what we saw. Interesting. That might be replacing a different dream. I don't remember if that's from this book or if it was actually in the first one. Not a Grover dream. Hmm. Interesting. Now, here's the thing that I picked up on as similar from the book, but apparently several other people didn't. There was a rose that um Sally mentioned she had a dream. The whole drachma with trident and scythe on one side, well, opposite sides of the coin. Didn't she have a dream at the start of this book? Like she knew about what happened with camp. We got the opposite perspective of Cersei. Hmm. If you don't trust nobody, Huh. Hmm. I mean, you already have Percy's somehow. So I knew Tyson was still alive. I should probably touch on that. Thing is, he didn't act. We didn't know that till a bit later on in the book. So how's this going to go? It's an Iris message. Hmm. Interesting. Hmm. What I want to know is how did he know by sight that it was Polyphemus's island? I think Woolly Thoughts is an actual line from the book. From the book. He's not actually that bad at it. She's not bad either, but he's a little better. That was definitely a knowing smile he gave. Like, he was able to tell. Wouldn't it make more sense for Annabeth with her cap? Then again, he'd probably know something is up if he smells sheep but doesn't see sheep. Trying to stand up? No, she's kicking the mirror. Or both? Ah, that's what was running down his cane. I was wondering what it was. Yeah, he's not making that. Thanks. Ooh, that's an issue. Huh. So that's what it looks. Oh, I've figured things out now. At least I think I have. Ooh, that's so his sword can just take him anywhere. Now here's the thing. Luke never had that portal ability. Well, he did have an act of disappearing, but he never stated outright portal. Luke, be the hero you think you are. Okay, never mind. It's not happening quite how I think it thought it would. It's not shut properly this time. Now, she was just dropped in the, well, like he was holding her, dropped her, her head hit a rock. Yeah, we didn't know Tyson survived in the book until he showed up on the island. Hmm. I don't think she's getting a choice. Having Luke be the one to heal her is very interesting. Oh yeah, he just straight up lied, by the way. He is taking her through the portal. Here's a question: how y'all gonna get off the island? That is a very Tyson line. Oh, do you not remember the fact that there was a boat in? There does seem to be some connection between the bracelet and Rainbow. That is how they got off the island in the book, except it was only three of. I think there was only three. Um, Percy and Annabeth were on one because Annabeth was wearing the fleece to heal up from Polyphemus's attack. Clarice and I think Grover were on the other, and Tyson was on the third. Maybe there was a fourth one. Doesn't sound right for Clarice and Grover to be. But what's interesting is leaving the island is the end of chapter 16, possibly the start of chapter 17. So the entire next part of the book is just different because it was meant to be that I don't remember what Nobody Gets the Fleece is. We meet the Sheep of Doom. One, you don't find out that they're man-eating sheep in this. Um, but that's okay. Just blending in with the sheep is fine. Having You don't have Percy hanging on the underside of one while Annabeth is invisible to sneak into the cave. Instead, they've got a different plan. So you don't have you do still have Grover and Clarice strung up, but it's not over a cooking pot for Polyphemus to eat. They're bait. The fake fleece was so. What I thought, based off of what we've seen from the trailers, was that Luke was going to come in. He was going to take the fake fleece um, while back to his ship, and the others would somehow have the real fleece, hide it, like some way, and then he'll take the fake fleece and them onto his ship, and then they escape with the real fleece, and yeah. I don't remember why it's called. Oh yeah, that's why it's called. The title of this episode doesn't make sense. So, um, obviously it can't be We Meet the Sheep of Doom because, well, you don't find out that they're the Sheep of Doom. They're not man-eating sheep. They just look like regular sheep. Okay. But the reason it was called Nobody Gets the Fleece, I'm just now remembering, is instead of Annabeth taunting Polyphemus about the whole nobody situation, Percy adopts the name of Nobody to do something similar. Like, hey, I've returned. I'm going to take out the rest of your eye. I'm the same person who blinded you, yada, yada, yada. And maybe it was Annabeth that was doing it. I think it was Percy, though. Um, but yeah, so that's, and then that's why it's called Nobody Gets the Fleece, because they're adopting the mantle of nobody from Odysseus, and they get the fleece. And then what's interesting is chapter 16, which is apparently the title of the next episode, doesn't really work because it's called I Go Down with the Ship, which is in relation to the Queen Anne's revenge that Percy and Annabeth sailed to Polyphemus' island because as they're escaping, I forget who it is, maybe Clarice celebrates too early, sort of like Odysseus does, alerts the Cyclops to what's really going on. He chucks a rock, hits the Queen Anne, and sinks it. I think Percy was on the ship when it happens, which is the whole I go down with the ship. But obviously, that can't be it. So it's got to be in relation to the Princess Andromeda. But the Princess Andromeda needs to survive till season 5. So I don't know what next week's title could be in relation to. And also, like I said, we've got stuff from the end of that, the writing the hippocampi out, that has already happened. Yeah, because Polyphemus is left on the island thinking that he's finally killed nobody. He's finally gotten revenge for what happened to his eye eons ago. And they leave him there thinking he's had that victory as like a final mercy, I guess it is. Um, did did Polyphemus ever actually know about Odysseus's connection to Athena? Because that could have been a very interesting, when he said which god sent you. She said nobody himself sent her. Could have said Athena. If he knew about the connection, then well, that would have been interesting. But yeah, it's not meant to be the next encounter with Luke until 17, which is we get a surprise on Miami Beach. And by then, the whole Fleece thing has been dealt with. Like, Luke never gets the Fleece. The Fleece never goes on the cruise ship. Percy, Annabeth, and Tyson, and Grover do go on the cruise ship a second time. Well, first time for Grover. Clarice never goes on the ship, because she's currently flying home with the Fleece. So, because all they had was enough money for one plane ticket. So, I wonder, because as soon as that Fleece touches Cronus's coffin, that should be it for everything. Like, that should raise Cronus. So, somehow, they've got to stop him from from when he gets on the ship till when he makes it to the Admiral's suite, or whatever it was called. Somehow they've got to intercept him, take the Fleece, rescue Annabeth, deal with everything else that's on the ship. And yeah, so I really don't know what to expect because most of most of the rest of this isn't, well, can't be done like the book. There is one thing I want to check. I want to check Thalia. Um, hmm. Let's see. Um, oh yeah. Also, this is our first instance of Percy failing to his fatal flaw. Like he abandoned the quest to save Annabeth, like he said he would, and that is something that recurs over and over throughout everything. Is Percy cannot overcome his fatal flaw. Annabeth manages her fatal flaw. Clarice manages her fatal flaw. Future characters manage their fatal flaw. One outright resists it every time. By manages, I mean sometimes they succumb to it, sometimes they're able to resist it. One resists it every time. Um, but Percy never can. Um, yes, that is what I was thinking of. Was it? I'd need to find where in the book it is. I'm going to check these two chapters first. So let's go 202. Um, let's see. I don't think it's got anything to do with these chapters. I think it comes earlier. Yeah. It was Annabeth who was pretending to be nobody. Uh, hmm. Yeah. There's there's a dream in this book. Percy sitting in a classroom, basically detention. He's wearing, I think, a straitjacket, and there's only one other person in this room, a teenage girl with jet black hair and electric blue eyes. And it's like, well, are you going to do something? And then he doesn't know what she's talking about, what's going on, and then she's like, I guess it's up to me then. And she starts making her way out of the straitjacket, goes towards the front of the class, I think where Kronos's coffin is, and she opens the lid on it, and I think he wakes up before he's able to see what's inside it, but she is shocked by what she sees. I think that's how the dream plays out. I couldn't find it. I didn't look that hard because I don't have much more time today. And yeah, so that is the dream that I think is being replaced by the one that happened in this, which is a whole bunch of campers lying on the ground of the big house, clearly dead, while Thalia comes in and blasts Percy with lightning. wearing the same outfit that Kronos was in his dreams from the first season. Don't know what to think of that. Um, very interesting. Hmm. Oh yeah, another person who never overcomes it. Well, basically never overcomes their fatal flaw is Luke, showing yet another parallel between Percy and Luke. How they are basically two sides of the same coin. Um, and Percy's fatal flaw of excessive personal loyalty, and Luke's fatal flaw of excessive wrath, which is basically revenge versus extreme loyalty. They can sort of be seen as, because Luke is wrathful for people he cares about as well. So he's got a bit of Percy's in him to have his own fatal flaw. And I just think it's funny that this Luke doesn't seem to be as driven by that, because, well, we don't actually know how Book Luke would react, because he never made it to Polyphemus' Island. He never entered the Sea of Monsters. Like, he met up with them in Florida, um, to try and take the Fleece once they were done with their quest. And so we don't know how he would have reacted to Polyphemus having injured Annabeth the way he does. But yeah, very interesting what they've done. And I really don't know what's going to be of the next two episodes. Um, but anyway, I'm going to end this one here. I'll catch you in the next one.